I'm here today with Dato Thian. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
It's our pleasure. First, I'd like to ask, what is the outlook for Malaysian steel demand towards the end of this year and into 2021?
Yeah, this question is very pertinent. As you know, currently with the COVID-19 pandemic, had created an unprecedented downturn, not only to Malaysia, but also to the whole world. And the impact to Malaysia's steel demand is very, very damaging in the sense that our demand for 2020 had dropped drastically, around 10% of the steel demand. And this COVID-19 impact had made the industries during the MCO time had halt the operations or delay all our supply, especially supply change. Now, you look at our constructions in second quarter, our construction has shrunk about close to 40%. You see how bad it is. And the whole of the GDP in second quarter also dropped by 17%. So it means that there are a lot of rooms that we need to improve and a lot of efforts that the governments need to assist the current steel industries. For 2021, the scenario could be improved due to the government put in a lot of stimulus package. Our Malaysian government had put in close to ringgit 305 billion to stimulate the economy due to the COVID-19 pandemic impact. So Bank Negara of Malaysia and also Ministry of Finance had projected a positive growth in 2021, but yet to be seen. It a lot depends on how we are able to control the COVID-19 pandemic, and we do not expect there is another second lockdown due to the second wave or third wave. If there is, the scenario might not be as positive, and also depend on global world market. If the 2021, the global world market is improving, I believe that Malaysia's likewise will improve, and also depend on the oil market also. So it depends on the oil price. So these are the few factors that I would like to share in Malaysia's current scenario.
Thank you. So with all of these disruptions to demand, it's an interesting time for companies that are commissioning capacity, and there's a lot of new capacity planned in the region. How sustainable do you see those capacities being?
If you look at ASEAN, it is an emerging and growing market. So there are a lot of new, what we call large-scale new capacities, especially from China. Investors come to ASEAN. So on one hand, the ASEAN countries, they are happy with the new investments. On the other hand, the local steel players might not be happy because of the oversupply caused by this large-scale new capacity. Now, it is quite doubtful that all the 60 million new capacities can be commissioned because of the current COVID-19 pandemic that caused uncertainties in the whole ASEAN market. And also the global market is also at the downturn, especially on the steel demand. So you look at the total investments for the steel sectors in the whole ASEAN markets, basically a lot come from China. Can I say that the China investors are trying to transfer the excess capacity from China to ASEAN, and so that they are able to avoid any trade actions from ASEAN countries. So they invest a lot in ASEAN countries. Example, in Malaysia, I want to share with you. We had one large-scale new investments started 2018 with 3.5 million tons. These 3.5 million tons start operations since 2018 and had cost at least 6 listed companies, steel companies, 6 listed companies in Malaysia had lost almost ringgit 1 billion for last 18 months. So it means that on one hand, the investments is good for the countries, but their capacity is too big for domestics. These are the things that if all 60 million tons had been commissioned, we are quite worried. The overcapacity had caused the price war among the ASEAN countries. And if you had more anti-dumpings or trade frictions among the ASEAN countries, this I want to share.
Thanks. For example, for hot rolled coil, increased hot rolled coil capacity could mean cheaper flats products. That could also, for example, help downstream companies. As a downstream company, do you see any advantages of that capacity?
So for hot rolled coil in Malaysia, so far, previously we have our one local companies that they are already in operations for a while, but due to the competitions and imports of the cheap hot rolled coil come to Malaysia, they face difficulties and already stop operations. But now there is at least 2 companies that is from China very interested to start these hot rolled coil plants. One is at East Coast in West Malaysia. Another one is in Sarawak. That one is about 10 million tons. But as I know that the government had approved this project, but with only 5 million tons. Now, with these 5 million tons of the large-scale capacities, Malaysia is too small for this. So they need to aim for export markets. So it means that the local companies, just now I mentioned previously, due to competition had closed down. Now, with this new large-scale capacity from China, how can these existing local players to compete with the new large-scale investor from China? This is my points that I want to share.
Okay, thank you for joining us.
So.